Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome again to the Equity Guru 3-minute hit. Today I'm going to talk about our uranium friends. Once again, we call them the Equity Guru Uranium Super Friends. It's 3 companies, all in the early exploration stage, all in roughly the same area, all very friendly with each other, all doing the work. And since we started talking about them in the last couple of weeks, all up by, well, around about 50% each, which for companies that have been a little bit flat over the last year, as most exploration companies have, flat or down, a 50% jump in under a month, mwah, chef's kiss. We like what we're seeing. So company number 1 is Skyharbour Resources. This is the most senior of the 3. We'll call him Superman. He's gone from 34.5 cents, 35 cents, up to around 43 cents since the New Year's Day. Good bounce out of tax loss season. Good looking rise that looks like it's got no sign of slowing down. This has been a consistent over the past couple of weeks, and we really like what Skyharbour brings. A1 management, plenty of projects, plenty of much bigger partners than themselves, no shortage of ways to take a good looking project and ramp it up quickly and efficiently. Skyharbour is SYH on your ticker symbols and in your hearts, and it's a good buy, in my opinion. And if you've been listening to my opinion, you're up 50% on that, baby. All right, the other one I'm talking about today is Azincourt Energy. Now, Azincourt has had a rough past year. Did a rollback, got initially not too bad on the bounce off the rollback, but when the economy really went south, Azincourt just caught a downward wave and there wasn't much they could do about it. So they've been quiet over the last few months. In the last couple of weeks, they've started talking again. They've kicked in a program with Equity Guru. So that tells me for the next 6 months, they're going to have plenty to talk about, which is a marked difference from a month ago, 2 months ago, 4 months ago. So Azincourt back in play. AAZ is the ticker symbol. And if you want a little guy that's undervalued for mine, but about to start doing the work, that's a good one. Stock price has gone from 4.5 cents up to 7.5 cents in the last 2 weeks since we started talking about the Super Friends. We'll call this one Robin, because, it's not quite Superman, it's not quite Batman, but it's a good little sidekick to the other 2. And another one that I'm going to talk about is Standard Uranium. Standard is kind of between those 2. Azincourt, early stage. Skyharbour, much more advanced. Standard, right in the middle, but with a market cap not far off Azincourt. What do I like about Standard Uranium? I like that it's a seasoned exploration team, that they're straight shooters, they don't talk bullshit. I love that if you go to their website, they have explainer videos everywhere that talk you through the process, talk you through what they're doing, talk you through macroeconomics of uranium, microeconomics of exploring uranium. Really good informational sources and good guys to boot. They're the Batman of the Super Friends, as far as I'm concerned. Good mid-range, and if you've been listening to us, you've seen it go from 5.5 cents to 10 cents since January 1. That is more than a double in 2 weeks. The rubber is hitting the road on this, my friends. Now, the 10-cent level, that seems to have been a base that Standard Uranium is making for itself now. It's tried to get a little bit above it, but it looks like somebody is happy to take 10 cents for the stock. So they've gone zoop and then across, as anyone who's buying in is buying from that one guy. When that guy's done, I expect this thing's got more room to run. Now, the 3 companies combined, you're looking at about a 40% jump, a 50% jump, a 100% jump in the last 2 weeks. What happened 2 weeks ago? We started putting out our information about the Equity Guru Uranium Super Friends. These 3 companies have all started rising at the same time. Now, uranium gets a little bit of interest right now in the greater market. People are seeing that uranium and green energy coming from nuclear power is a thing that we might not want to be scared of going forward, that it's better for us than burning fossil fuels. And there seems to be a lot of countries, now that Russia is flinging itself around with gay abandon, who want to get out from the Russian energy pipelines. So this is good news for uranium, good news for uranium explorers and companies that over the next few years, if all goes well, will play out in a much grander scale, fill out their resource estimates, and get to a place where they can get closer to, if not into, a production scenario. Long way to go for these guys. These are the little guys. If you want production next year, well, there are bigger companies that you can get behind, and there's no shortage of people who can talk about those. I'm looking 3 to 4 years down the road when we start actively building out new nuclear energy facilities, and I think that's going to happen. Hell, if I was Prime Minister right now, I'd be dotting the north of Canada with them. I'd be building them in every community, putting jobs up north, generating all the power you could ever want with Canadian ore bodies, and selling all that energy down into the US. I think it'd be an absolute game changer. Every province would suddenly be in Alberta. I think it'd be amazing. But, you know, hey, there's a lot of hand-wringing when it comes to nuclear power. A lot of people who've watched one too many Netflix documentaries about, you know, 1970s Soviet technology and 3 Mile Island from before that. Listen, nuclear power is now much more manageable, much more safe, much more micro-manageable, right? You can put it in a much smaller footprint. Small nuclear power facilities that you have them on the back of US warships now. So it's not a case of like, you know, Mr. Burns anymore. So as that plays out and as we get more aligned on nuclear energy, which I believe we will in very short time, especially if Putin continues dragging himself through the Ukraine, I think companies like these three, SYH, STND, and is it AAZ? I always get confused with AAZ. AAZ, Azincourt. Those three, for mine, are really good starting points. Very much upside, very little downside. For mine, the downside has already been factored in. These guys have been at their bottom level for a significant amount of time, and they are starting to show their work. SYH, AAZ, and STND, the Equity Guru Uranium Super Friends. Get into it.